Welcome to Anfield FM, and it's a new show we're doing. It's called Kings of the Cop. It's going to feature plenty of Liverpool fans, great fans, and also legends, players, past and present as well. I'm going to hand you over to Frank, and he's going to introduce tonight's first Kings of the Cop guest. Frank?
Good evening to all Anfield FM listeners worldwide. My name's Frank Bentley, and tonight myself and Jockey will be interviewing the best Liverpool FC fan this side of Nairobi, Mr. Gerry Blaney. We'll be talking to Gerry about his first game, which was at Huddersfield Town at Anfield in 1956-57 season, when Bill Shankly was the manager of Huddersfield Town and we got beat 4-2, to the last game against Newcastle at Anfield in the 2013-2004 season when we won 2-1. Now over to you, Jockey.
Okay, Gerry, thanks for joining us on the show.
My pleasure, Edmund.
Right, a certain subject going to be talking about through this show is you're bringing out a book. It's going to be out in October. It's going to be called In My Blood, and we're going to give you plenty of time to plug that. I had a quick read of it last night, and we'll start where we should always start, really, at the beginning. Now, I read the book last night. You were almost being in danger of becoming an Everton fan, weren't you?
Not really, like, I don't know where this has come from, like.
Well, back in your blood, back in your bloodline, I've read in the book, unless you forgot that it's quite easily could have been an Evertonian.
I know where you're at now, yeah. Where that happened was my dad was born in Belfast, and his father was not only not only a busy, but he was also a wife beater. So in the end, he got took into care, and to a Mr. Blaney, who is now my step-granddad. So they moved over. He used to go much Glentoran in the Irish League, but decided there was the money was no good, no work there, so decided to move to Liverpool, got a job in Camberlades. So he used to love football, so he used to go and watch Everton one week and Liverpool the next. He said, but when he decided to come over here with my dad, Harry, who was 7, he said to him, look, I'm going to take you to a game. Do you want to go to a football match? He went, my dad said, oh, yes, please, Dad. So he said, look, I'm going to take you to Goodison one week and then Anfield the next week. And then I want you to choose, because I don't want to support the two. I just want to support one. So my dad said, yeah, that's good. So he said he took him to Goodison first. He said, and after the game, he said, oh, Dad, I love the Blues. The Blues will do. And his dad said to him, no, wait till we go to Anfield next week, then you make your mind up. He said, then after 10 minutes watching the Reds and looking at that cup flowing and the rattles and scarves and banners, he said it was just unbelievable. He said, Dad, I've got to be a Red. So at one point there, I was nearly a Blue. Wow.
So it got passed down to you in the end, and you're luckily a Red. Your first game, Gerry, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was Huddersfield Town. My dad used to work in an engineering factory, Lucas's. But he was a grafter, my dad, and he also bought a van, and he used to go out on the scrap every weekend, buying scrap and then selling it in the scrap yards. I used to go with him from 5 onwards. So this one morning, we're getting up for the Saturday morning, it was, and my dad shouts me up in bed, Gerry, get your ass down here, come, you're making your debut today. And I went, what? And he said, debut? And I went, what's debut? He said, you're going to your first match today. And I went, oh, great. And he went, come on, let's go make a few bob then. So he takes me to the match. He said, I remember very little of it, to be honest with you. He used to go on the Anfield Road then. But we used to always go to the Liverpool Supporters Club first, and he'd get himself a double rum and a bottle of Mackey's and get me a little bottle of shandy. But the first game, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was great, just fabulous, even though we got beat 4-2.
Yeah, but there was something also very special about that game. There was a member of the staff on the opposition you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, how ironic is this? Manager of Huddersfield Town at the time was none other than the great Bill Shankly, my all-time hero. Without Shanks, without a doubt, there'd be no Liverpool Football Club as it's known today, all over worldwide, Europe, continent, wherever you want to go. Without Shankly, I know Page was brilliant, but without Shankly, none of this, for sure, would never have happened.
So for a few years, your old fella was taking you to the games, weren't he? And obviously you made up. But there come a time when you just had to break away from that, didn't you? And you had to become your own self, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. And I remember, like, it was... my first away game, I think, was Port Vale. I think it was around 62, 63. I'd be 12, and I hitched it to Port Vale. And when I got back, didn't get back till about 11 at night because couldn't get a lift. It was murder. I said, my ma battered me everywhere, and this went on for months. Harry, what are you doing? He's causing murder. The busies are always here. He's always fighting. He's out hitchhiking. Anything could happen to him. I'm telling him now, I'm going to nail these windows down so he can't get out the house. There's no way he's going to them football matches until he starts behaving himself. Because he's hard work, Harry. He's hard work.
Okay, well, tell us about your apprenticeship anyway, as a budding copite, because like all of us sitting around the table, myself, Frank, yourself, and plenty of others out there who've supported the Reds for years, your apprenticeship didn't start in the Cops, did it?
No, it started with my dad in the Anfield Road, and then when I was 9, about 3 years later, my dad said, look, I'm going to start putting you in the boys' pen. So I went, oh, that's great, Dad. He said, it's at the side of the Cop, you'll have a laugh there. And I just buzzed on it every week. It wasn't
always a laugh, though. It was a tough place, weren't it, to exist?
Many a time something that decides to have me sweets off. Loads of times, you know what I mean? You had to be on your toes in there, believe me. But I was just in awe looking at the Cop. I was just in awe and thought, I'm going to have some of that. So I said, this week I decided, at the very back, there was a big fence and there was all barbed wire at the top. But I was up like a monkey, right through it, down on the other side in. And I'm in the Cop then. I said, that went on for years. I said, but this busy, he was going nuts. I've got you today. I'm going to have you, he said. And I went like that. Not today, Copper.
Frank?
I was just going to say, how many times did you climb over the fence in the boys' pen, Gerry?
Oh, it's got to be 70.
You've got to work out how many games there's a season.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 60, 70 times. I don't know. I mean, there was one time where the busy was at the back and he's like that, you're going nowhere today, son. I said, but I got two mates to cause a bit of a fake fight about 20 yards away from me. And soon as he turned his back and go to there, I was up like a monkey and I was gone.
What year is this, Gerry?
That'd be 1959, 60, I should imagine.
Well, I was doing the same, 15 years later, and that copper, he must have had an hard job, because it was we were like monkeys going over that back bit. If anyone who was ever went in the boys' pen, like us three sitting in the studio here, in the studio in Gerry's Shrine. I'm calling Gerry's Shrine studio here. Anyone who's ever been in the boys' pen, they'll be able to picture it at the back. You can get up onto the girders and you can climb right across. But anyway, so we're going to come up to the 1965 FA Cup final in a minute. But did you see the league come to Liverpool in the early 60s?
Oh, I was on the pitch, 63-64 season. We won. We come up in 61-62. And we finished 8th the first year. Then the next year we won us. I was still on that pitch. I think it was at 6:30. The game finished at 20-5 in them days. I'd grown men were crying, hugging, kissing each other. It was unbelievable. And Shankly was just standing there with his arms aloft as he used to do and bowing to the crowd. And then he gave us a great speech, you know what I mean? You are the people. That's where them Everton bastards, sorry to swear, robbed our thing. People's Club, my ass.
Back them days, let's call it pre-1963, the Beatles and Jerry Marsden. What was it like on the Cop? I mean, we've all seen the footage, the black and white footage. I think it's Jonathan Dimbleby. He's in front of the Cop and he's comparing it to Welsh crowds and they're all singing Beatles songs and Cilla Black songs and that. They're sort of the earliest footage we've got. What was it like previous to that?
I'm just trying to rack me brain. What do you mean before the singing and that?
Yeah.
All it was like, them rattles, wow. You used to have a headache when you used to go home. It just, everyone seemed to have a rattle. It was just rattle, 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 and clap, clap, clap. Yeah. And that was it. Just untrue.
Was there any trouble back then, Gerry? Or maybe not back then, but when you started going away? What year did you start going away?
I started going away, I was 12, so it'll be Port Vale. I think it was 62, 63 season probably.
Did there used to be any trouble back then?
No, not really. Not really. I think it crept in the...
Skinhead era?
Yeah, around the late 60s, I would say, yeah. Mid to late 60s it started coming in, yeah.
Was you part of any fashion? Like, was you a mod or a rocker or a skinhead?
No, it was more of a mod, really. I used to like me Ben Shermans, possibly me flares, and I wasn't one who used to wear the
Yeah, the Doc Martens.
The Martins, they were too fucking heavy to run them in case you had to go on your toes, so I always wore monkey boots, you know what I mean? I was gone.
Nowadays, and even back when I was a kid, music and football were always married together at the time. What music were you into then?
I just love me soul music, Tamla Motown, just, you know, and I liked everything really, to be honest, from the Stones to like...
Just right across the board?
Right across the board, yeah. The only thing I didn't really like was country and western, that Tiger by the Tail and all that. Didn't like that, that's about it. But all other music, but my favourite was Tamla Motown. I used to love Tamla Motown.
Okay, so Shanks has brought the Premiership, well, not the Premiership, he's brought the First Division trophy to Anfield back in, it was 1963, wasn't it?
64.
Yeah, it was 1963-64 season. And he brought in 65, 66. Yeah. Now in 65, he also got us to our first, well, we won our first FA Cup final at Wembley against Leeds United. Unfortunately, you didn't make it to that game. Tell us about that, Gerry, from the beginning.
Yeah, I was 13 years of age, 13 and a half, and as I say, I was always in trouble. I was in and out of court, a kid, for silly robbing and silly things, you know what I mean? And my mother had enough. She said, "You're not going to these games." And I went, "Oh, please, man." She went, "No." What gutted me was, I was at the semi-final at Villa Park. My dad took me against Chelsea. I said, "No, you know, on the night before the game at Wembley, my dad said, 'Look, son, I've got some bad news for you. You can't come,' he said. We've only got 3 seconds and there's 5 of us in the car and we're only in an hour Ford Corsair, yellow." He said, "And there's no room for you, and your mum's determined, she's not letting you go." She said, "She's going to nail the windows down," because many a time I climbed out the back window and it's psyched. I said, and I thought, well, I'll take it what it comes when I get home. So
you decided you were going to stay in your auntie's, weren't you, that weekend? So he drove you up there, up to your auntie's in West Derby?
No, Kirby, yeah. Oh, no, I'm now with you, yeah. But my dad said to me, "Don't worry, you know, I'll make it up to you. I've got a nice surprise for you coming." So I said, "Where are we going?" She said, "I'm just taking you to your auntie's in Kirby." And on the way I went, "This is not the way to Kirby." I went, "This is the way to Melwood." He went, "Yeah, I'm taking you to Melwood to meet Shankly." And wow, what an experience that was. I was just, I've got a big mouth and I can talk forever, but I couldn't open my mouth. My jaw was just dangling and just listening to every word that come out of his lips.
So you've turned into Melwood, and what's happened?
And Shankly training all the boys. And he noticed me dad straight away and shouted over, "Hey, Harry, all right, son, is this the famous Gerry?" He said, "Look, I'll be over in a minute. I'll just collect all the balls in the net, and then I'll be over and we'll have a talk." And then he come over, he went, "Gerry, look, it wasn't possible for you to go to Wembley this time. But don't worry, son, you'll go many, many times in the near future. Maybe 10, 20 times, don't worry." And as usual, Shanks was right. I was buzzing. I couldn't wait to get to school Monday morning to tell all the lads I've met the bold Bill.
Yeah, the great man. You met the great man. Okay, Frank?
Okay, Gerry, so after this time when you went to Melwood and met the great Bill Shankly, obviously your first Wembley appearance then must have been Liverpool-Arsenal 70-71 season. Do you want to tell us some things about that, and how did you get there? Can you remember how you got to the game that day?
We don't want to know about the Labrador either. Carry on.
Yeah, it was Arsenal where we sadly got beat Charlie George. If I remember rightly, I used to the game. All I remember after the game, I was coming out and I was literally, when I say sick, I mean I was vomiting everywhere. I don't know what it was just the disappointment, and I was just vomiting for about an hour. It was unbelievable. But I seen many tickets getting snatched that day off the touts, and it was just a joy to watch. I think there was 3 or 4 of us, and we only had 2 tickets. This fella come bombing past us and all that, and then after he got past, he sort of looked around, and he wasn't getting chased, and he stopped, and he went, "You're all right for tickets, lads?" And I went, "No, we need one, lad." He went, "Here you go, lads," and he just gave us the tickets. I went, "Oh, nice one, lad." He said, "That's courtesy of the touts."
You know, during that game, Gerry, we had great players. You know, Steve Highway, Brian Hall. You know, Peter Thompson. I think he was there. You know, what was your recollection of the game, and you know, how did you think that Liverpool performed on that day?
Oh, without a doubt, we had 80% of the game. Football's football, but the best team lost. I think I waited till Took a long time to get revenge on that, but it certainly happened. Was it 2006 at the Millennium?
2001. They've upset us quite a few times, Arsenal, haven't they? Seems we're talking about Arsenal. No, we'll come back to that later. We'll come back to the Arsenal game in '89 a little later. Anyway, we're sitting in Gerry's... I forgot to tell you before, we're sitting in Gerry's shrine. It can only be described as a shrine. I'm looking up now, and it's like the Sistine Chapel here. We've got Bill Shankly there on the ceiling. Now, we haven't mentioned it before, but early on, as I say, this series is called Kings of the Cop, and Gerry was the first ever fan to be awarded Liverpool #1 fan. It was in 2001. Gerry, tell us a bit about that, mate.
Oh, it was brilliant. We were playing Aston Villa away at Villa Park, and I was driving them with some of the lads, Matt and all, Ted Edwards and people like that. And as we got home from the game, we always have a bevy in the Cesar and Vine on Queen's Drive there, but I wasn't feeling too clever. I'd had an heavy night the night before. I was out with my mate Charlie, he's a fucking nuisance. Anyway, I get home and the phone rings, and it's Ted Edwards, and he said, "Have you got the pink echo yet?" And I went, "No, not yet. Why?" And he went, "You've only gone and won it, have you?" I said, but my instant reply was, "Good job I did, otherwise it'd have been the steward's inquiry, lad." I said, "I'll be with you in 20 minutes, get the champers in."
So, yeah, and as I say, a proper reward for you as well for the thousands of miles, thousands of pounds, and, the thousands and thousands of hours you've spent following the Reds.
2,200 games altogether, Red.
2,200 games, wow.
I'd just like to rewind a little bit now. Obviously, we were dying to get that one out about Gerry being the first Liverpool supporters #1 fan. But I'd like to go back now to 1977 when we won our first European Cup, Gerry, in the backyard of one of our most, how can I say?
Well, they're hated now, aren't they?
Yeah, hated.
Opponents?
It's opponents, Roma.
Which one? The 77?
Yeah.
No, that was Gladbach.
Sorry,
yeah, it was Gladbach, but it's in Rome. In Rome, now. Sorry.
In Rome, yeah. I'd only started flying there the year before. I was petrified of flying. But anyway, I went with a lot of lads from Ayton and a couple from Scotty Road. And it was just untrue. It was the atmosphere I'd never seen. I didn't think I'd ever see a game that would outshone that. But obviously, who knew about Istanbul coming? But that was unbelievable. One of the lads getting on the plane. What had happened was when we got there, Ammo was last out of bed in the morning, and all the lads said, "We'll meet you down the beach." So I said, "All right." So I get up about 2 hours later and says to the receptionist, "Where's the beach club?" She said, "Only about a mile. Taxi will take you." I get in a taxi. I was in a taxi for 3/4 of an hour. And I kept my dad going, yeah, beach. In the end, I said, just take me back to the fucking hotel, will you? So he takes me back to the hotel, and he says something like 50 quid, which was like ridiculous. And I went, "You're not getting that." And he just held his hand up, and then all of a sudden about 20 taxi drivers all come over, and just, I had to pay. I said, so I got stick off. I finally got to the beach. I walked to it. He was only at the back of the hotel. And there's one kid named Warner from Scotty Road. And he said to me, "I thought you were streetwise, yeah, getting ripped off by the thing and all that." I said, "But I got my own back on the journey home. As you're going through the passport control, I dipped his Pazzy." and he was flapping and everything, and we're all shouting at him, and he was nearly crying. And in the end, I took it out of my pocket, I went, "Hey, ass off, lad, here it is. Who's not streetwise anyway? Who's not streetwise now?" I said, "That's payback for giving me stick about this taxi driver, lad." But what a fabulous, fabulous night that. Well, fabulous 2 or 3 nights. It was fabulous.
We go on about we beat Borussia Mönchengladbach. They had one of the greatest footballers of the 70s in their team at the time, Alan Simonsen.
European Player of the Year, he was.
Yeah, European Player. And after that, for some reason, my recollection is that he ended up signing for Charlton Athletic.
Yeah, done nothing. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, just went out of focus. Just stopped like some players do now and again.
But okay, Gerry, but let's admit he scored a wonderful goal against us, didn't he?
Unbelievable goal. 2 keepers wouldn't have saved it.
Yeah.
2 keepers wouldn't have saved it. Right in the top corner, bang.
And I think that showed the class of player that Alan Simonsen was. We never went on to do anything else. It's like these bands that have one-hit wonders. Yeah. Alan Simonsen seems to have done that season, but yeah, he was European Footballer of the Year. Yeah. And then obviously, we can move on now to the 1978 season.
Well, you can say there that Alan Seamanson never went on to greater things, but 76, 77 season, that was our platform, that was our springboard, and it sent us right into an era, into a dynasty, which must have been the greatest years of your life. Gerry, you grew a muzzy back then, you still haven't got rid of it. You and the rest of the players, you all grew the same muzzy.
Yeah, I've had this muzzy since it was...
A moustache, that is, for our worldwide listeners.
I've had this muzzy since I was 17, because I got in a bit of trouble. I was working in a leather cutting firm, and I was only about 8.5 stone soaking wet. And I used to cut these like a moon-shaped blade, and I used to cut the leather with. And this charge, and he hated me. He was about 18 stone, and he come over, antagonising me. And he was like 15 birds worked there. It was only me and another fella. And all the birds were looking on me, and he was trying to belittle me. So I just turned out to him to fuck off. And he grabbed my hand, and as we scuffled, it went to my face and put a big scar right down my lip. I was wide open that way. And I just grew a muzzy just to try and cover it up a little bit, and it's never been off my face since.
It's your trademark?
So that's where the famous Gerry Blaney moustache came from, is that right?
That's the one, yeah.
Not a lot of people know that.
But not only that, you know, we had a lot of our fantastic footballers
All had the same dash.
all copied the Gerry Blaney moustache, you know, every one of them, you know, we can go through them.
Look at them on the wall there, Fran.
Well, yeah, you've got Davy Johnson, which is Terry McDermott, Graham Souness, Ian Rush, you know.
Aldridge.
You know, I'll even go Davy Hodgson, who was a great player.
Yeah.
You know, the list is endless, isn't it, Gerry?
Yeah, endless, yeah. They've even got a chance on the coach for me, it's great. I get very emotional when they sing it. It's to the Suarez song, you know, where his name is Gerry Blaney, he's got a famous tash, he just won't shave it off, he just won't shave it off.
Yeah, I had a little look around your room before, around your shrine, and I was looking at all the players who you got your pictures with on the wall and all the signed stuff off them. I was going to mention them, but you can't mention them. It's more of a point of mention who you haven't got a picture with. I mean, let's see who you've got here. You've got Keegan, you've got Fowler, you've got Ray Clements, Alan Hansen, Stan Collymore, Ruddock, Emlyn Hughes,
Evan MacDonald,
Roy Hodgson, Cara. Who was your favourite out of all these people, all these players, all these staff managers you've met over the years, Gerry? Who was your favourite? Not your favourite player, but who was the biggest personality?
That's hard to say, but my favourite all-time player is Sir Roger Hunt, without a doubt. But the likes of Emlyn Hughes, I mean, he loved me. I've been to nightclubs with Emlyn. I've been to the races at Chester and things like that. Mulby is just an absolute diamond. You know, he's such a wonderful person, Mulby. I'd say I'd have to go for Mulby, to be honest with you, as the nicest person I've ever met. Carragher's brilliant. Gerrard can be. But I'd have to give it to Mulby without a doubt.
Yeah, well, that's right. But okay, so that's your greatest player of all time. Following the Reds, you've obviously... Okay, we'll go into 1978. Frank's given me a cue to go to 1978. But Frank's given me a cue to go to 1978, and Gerry's telling me he can't tell us about 1978 because he was on his holidays.
And 79.
And 79 as well. So we're right into the 80s here. What we'll do, we'll go into... what's your greatest night following Liverpool FC, Gerry?
Greatest night?
For whatever reason?
Well, I'd like to think that he's had many, but, you know, it'd be nice if you could just name maybe one or two, Gerry.
It's got to be the finals, hasn't it, really? I mean, Istanbul sticks out by a mile. It was like, that was for 3 days. I mean, I had no sleep in 3 days. With 3 days. Good job my mate Charlie's with us, otherwise it wouldn't have been able to stay up. You know what I mean?
I mentioned the famous game against Real Madrid in Paris, Gerry, 81. You know, that's got to be up there with them, hasn't it?
Oh, not half. I mean, I was with Jabba Parker, Gerard Cannon, and my old mate Billy Swan. And the other fella was there again, as always, Charlie. I was in the right state at the end of the night, you know what I mean? I remember getting up in the morning to eat me croissants. There was vomit all over the table and everything. Seemed to have just the croissants.
It hasn't always been happy days, though, has it, Gerry? You've mentioned there your mate Charlie. all lads used to go to the game with him. Billy Swan as well. Tell us about that. This was it 88? Was it 87?
Yeah, it was 18 months before Hillsborough, and my best mate. He was best man at my wedding, and he's godfather of my child, Gerry. And we were travelling to Luton in a league game. Now, I don't know whether you know anything about this, but Luton Town never allowed any fans to come into their ground. Not just Liverpool fans, any fans, all banned. But we used to always jib in, Scousers always find a way. We got stuffed 4-0. There was still about 20 minutes to go, so we thought, we'll make an early dart. We can't pull this back. It's the worst thing we ever done. We got on the motorway and bombing it all the way home. Got to just by Stoke, and we had a bad blowout in the back tyre. And just got hurled across the four lanes, the 3 lanes, over the embankment, and the car, we all smashed up. Sadly, Billy was sucked out the back window. He's 17.5 stone, by the way. And he lay dead on the hard shoulder. Me and my brother Alan, who were in the front, we were unmarked. And as we turned round to say to my other young brother, who was only 15, and Billy Swan's young brother, Tony Swan, and he was in the field about 30, he got flung about 30 yards away in the field, so we had to go to the hospital. The ambulance come, and then when we were in the car going to the hospital, it come over the thing. We believe there's 2 dead now, and that meant my young brother Ian was dead, and I just broke down. I was in bits anyway, and then it come over about 10 seconds later. Oh, correction on that, correction, there's only 1 dead. And it was the hardest night of my life. My brother from Runcorn came and picked us up, took me back home to my mum and dad's, and then he drove me round to Billy Swan's, who only lives 1 mile away. The hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life was knock on Billy's door and tell his mum and dad he was dead.
It was the start of a bad spell for you, wasn't it, Gerry? Someone else started joining you in the car a year or 2 later, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. That's my son Peter. I wasn't married to his mother. We knew we didn't love each other, but my mother insisted that she bring him up to her house every Sunday, and that went on for about 7 years. I used to take him doing a little bit of fishing and all that. And then one day, his mum Pat said to me, "Look, I'm getting married." So I said, "Well, I'll have a word with Peter." And I sat him on my knee and said, "Look, son, you're not going to see a lot of me now because you've got 2 dads now, but you're dead lucky to have 2 dads. But always remember that I'm your dad, and if you ever need me, I'm always on the end of the line. You've only got to ring me. So we'll keep in touch, okay, son?" And that was that. Yeah, he started joining us, but he was so unlike me. Not in looks, he was dead handsome, just like his dad. And he was pretty large as well. Anyway, he started coming with us, and sadly, Hillsborough come up. So I asked his mum, "Can I take him?" She said, "Yeah, of course." So he gets to the ground, and I've got him a ticket for the stands with us. And I said, "Come on, let's get in now." It was chocker outside. I said, "Come on, I don't like the look of all this. Let's get in now out the way." He went, "Dad, there's all my mates here. Can I go in the Leppins Lane then with all them?" I said, "Have you got your ticket?" He went, "Yeah, there's a spare one for me." I went, "Okay, well, make sure and don't be hanging around after the match when we win celebrating. Get right back to the car." I said, we got back to the car, and after 10 minutes, I just knew. I just seen Tommy Smith hobbling past on his crutches, with his walking stick, sorry. And then I just looked at my 2 young brothers who were with me, who went to the same school as Peter. He's not coming back, he's gone. And I find it very hard to talk about this, to be honest. But that's it, I don't want to talk about it no more.
Okay, that's, I'd say, very sad times. But it's something, it's part of the history, what you've lived with Liverpool FC. So I'd say, yeah. Okay, move on to Frank.
Can I just try and bring a little bit more enlightenment back to you, Gerry, now? We'll just go back to 81, 82, 83, 84, where we had a great run in the, what we call the old League Cup, who's got renamed the Milk Cup. We still hold the record for that, 7 wins, but 4 on the bounce, is that right?
Yeah, 5.
Your recollection of them games, Gerry,
I had to miss one of them because I was on my holidays again. It was Tottenham.
You're always on holidays back then, weren't you?
Not a lot, only 3 times.
These enforced holidays, were they?
Yes, the Queen, she used to always invite me out. But I wasn't a bad boy, you know what I mean? Never hurt no one. Yeah, there was some great League Cup games. Just trying to think of them now.
Tottenham, West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham, we were a bit fortunate there against
Everton?
Everton was just quality, absolute quality. I mean, when we can beat the blue shirts, it's just a joy, isn't it? A joy to watch. Yeah, but we bit fortunate against West Ham, but we got there in the end with the help of a rare goal from Jockey. Alan, not Jockey here, Alan Hansen, I mean.
Yeah, so you know, we're back into the 80s now, and the great years, Frank.
Yeah, well, them 81, 82 up to 85 gave us on a tremendous run of winning the Milk Cup, and then we had the season what was one of our greatest seasons ever. We won the first double what Liverpool Football Club had won, which we should have won, in my eyes, many times before that. But, you know, that year, it was the year, you know, Kenny Dalglish became player manager.
Coming with 12 games to go. Yeah, Dalglish was player manager, but he'd never played himself. There's only 12 games to go, and we were a little bit off the pace. And he come in, and lo and behold, we won 11, and drew one out of them last 12 to be crowned champions.
Scored the winners, didn't he, Chelsea?
Yeah, he certainly did at Stamford Bridge. Get in, you little beauty. And I'm on the telly on that one as well, right at the back on the barbed wire. Me, Billy Swan, and our Alan. It was just quality.
Okay, let's see. Frank's just got his hands in the way of me notes. Yeah. We spoke about Hillsborough before, and we're not going to touch on the events around Hillsborough. But obviously, there was a replay against Notts Forest at Old Trafford. We won't talk about that. But then it was Arsenal. Then we were going to win the league, and it was Arsenal. The game to end all games.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a gambler. All the lads will tell you I used basically a professional gambler. I used to gamble in thousands, and I think I had a grand or two on Liverpool and another team to win the first division or something, and I was sweating on Liverpool to win the league for 11.5 grand. And my bookmaker Matt said to me, "Look, why don't you cover your bet and have 500 quid on Arsenal to win 2-0? You know, it's like it's 18-1 or something." He said, and you know, I should have done, but I just said, "Fuck off! I'm not backing against Liverpool." You know what I mean? But with hindsight now, I was a mug not to have 500 on the 2-0.
And not only that, Gerry, for your mate who was your bookie, to give you the chance of, you know, breaking even and giving you, you know, that was a great tip in itself, wasn't it?
Yeah, not half, but as I say, I just love Liverpool too much. It's as simple as that.
It's a sin.
I'm blinded by my love. It's for them, and you know, money means nothing to me. Yeah, of course it means something, but I mean, Liverpool Football Club are more important than money to me.
As you said, Gerry, you know, I think all Liverpool fans believed that we were going to win the game and we were going to win the league. We never won the double. We could have and should have won the double, but that was put behind us, and we opened the 89 season, which was a fantastic season for us. Pity it's been the last of our memorable league championship wins. You know, how many have we won, Gerry?
We've won 18. 1900, 101, 05, 06, 21, 22, 21, 22, 22, 23, 46, 47, 63, 64, 65, 66. Now I get a bit mixed up here now. I think it's 71, 72, and on and on and on.
You know, that's what you
75, 76, 76, 77. I don't think we won in 78, but we won in 79, Aston Villa. Didn't win in 80 because it was Villa who won it, or was it Forest? No, Forest won in 79.
81 we won it.
81, 84 we won it.
Yeah. 86 we won it.
86 we won it. 88
89 was the very last, as you said, was the last.
The last one, yeah.
You know, we're sitting here around.
Well, 90 was the last one. 89,
90. We're sitting around this table now, contemplating on, you know, last season where we all thought that maybe, but me personally, I just thought it was a bridge too far for us.
It was in the end, but going back to losing at Anfield against Arsenal, the main reason we lost that game, it was through tiredness. We'd played 5 games in 9 days. 5 games, and you know, the Hillsborough just took it all. It took everything out of everyone, and you know, but that's what done it. 5 games in 9 days. Impossible.
And mental exhaustion.
Oh, total mental exhaustion.
Yeah, there was 96 funerals to attend off that squad as well.
Everything. You know, we forgot to mention that, Gerry. There was a lockdown, wasn't there, for the footballers, and they were depending on when they were deciding whether to continue with the league. You know, but what we done after that was we went up to Glasgow and we had a memorial game against Celtic, which I think broke the ice for everybody in order to get back into the game, and everybody was wishing Liverpool to go and play the remainder of the games, and let's go and see if we can win that league for them people, yeah?
That's correct.
So, okay, we've come out of a dynasty and now we're into the barren years. New manager, another moustache just the same as yours. The barren years, the Souness years. You didn't stop going, you carried on. You carried on like a train lost on the tracks.
Yeah, biggest boo-boo Liverpool ever made by bringing Souness. Wow, absolute fabulous player, but without a doubt the worst manager ever to manage the Liverpool Football Club. He tried to bring all these ideas from Italy with him, different strain and spaghetti this, spaghetti that. It just didn't work. The treatment table was always full at Anfield, where it never used to be. It was just a total change of everything at Anfield. Oh, he was too arrogant. He was far too arrogant. But he didn't last long, thank God. And he was gone.
He won a trophy, didn't he, in '92, was it?
He did,
was it League Cup final?
League Cup, yeah, he won the League Cup final. But against Sunderland, we won 2-0 on it. Was it Sunderland?
Yeah, it was Sunderland, Gerry. Yes, it was. I remember that game. Well, we all stayed in the Holiday Inn in King's Cross. It was brand new, and we were all singing our songs because we knew Liverpool were going to be winning that game. But we christened the Holiday Inn in King's Cross that year.
Yeah, that's correct.
It was it had a refurb, and all the lads we all went there. And we stayed and we gave a good celebration that weekend.
I was used as our base for years to come, weren't it?
Yeah, we've celebrated there on many, many occasions. Wow.
So, yeah, barren years. We got rid of Souness, didn't we? And in come Roy Evans and later Gerard Houllier with him. We won the League Cup with Evans in 95, it was against Bolton. Can't remember the score. Was it 2-1?
McMahon scored both.
Yeah, but Gerry, I'm just looking at your pictures on the wall again here. There's many pictures with former Liverpool managers, and they're all holding a silver tray. Tell us about that, Gerry.
Well, I always, when Billy Swan died, I've tried to keep his name alive. So every new manager we got, or any player that Billy had seen that went on to make a testimonial, I'd buy them a silver salver and inscribe it. For instance, Jan Molby's one. To our great Dane, thanks for 10 glorious years, from Gerry Blaney, and then in brackets, Billy Swan, deceased. Yeah. So I've done that on every manager's salver and every player's, just to keep them alive. Gerry Blaney and Billy Swan, then in brackets, deceased.
So how did you get access to these managers and players, Gerry, for our listeners out there?
Well, I'd like to interrupt on that, because I know Gerry, I've known Gerry very well, and at the end of the day, really, he does have, I wouldn't call it audacity, he has the right to go march in, his reputation comes before him, he's got the right to march in, whether it be at Anfield and Melwood, they all know who he is, and when they see him with this package under his arm, I'm sure they're all aware of what's going on, and and I'd leave the rest down to Gerry to tell you.
Yeah, that's correct, Frank's just put a spot on there. I've known Frank for over 30 years, by the way. So, we go back a long way. Yeah, it's just, it's great. I mean, I still feel like a little kid when I'm going in, even though I'm 64 years of age now. I'm still in awe. I mean, I used to sing on nightclubs. I've never got nerves or nothing. But when I'm with them, I do. But after 10 minutes, I'm all right. Then I come into my own. And as Frank says, it's just a great honour to be not even asked, where he is. They know who I am, so they don't have to ask. And they don't have to ask what for, because they can see the silver salver under my arm going in to give it to them.
Have they all received it in a similar way, or has there been different...
Yeah, most of them have been at Melwood, presented at Melwood. But I done Carragher's one and Gerrard's one. I actually presented them on the pitch at the testimonial games.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen your daughter. She's a mascot at one again. I'm looking at a picture there. You stood pitch side with your missus and your daughter. What one's that?
Leeds, 1996, a league game at Anfield, and we hadn't had a penalty for it was either 18 months or 22 months. And lo and behold, we beat Leeds 5-0 and scored 2 penalties.
And your daughter was mascot that day?
Yeah, she was mascot. She loved it. Yeah.
So, anything else, Frank? Because we're moving into the present day now. moving into the present day, we're going to talk about...
Well, I'd just like to mention, obviously, the Spice Boy years. We got to the FA Cup final against Man United. Out of all the players who scored the goals against us, don't get me wrong, I think Eric Cantona was a fantastic player. He'd been banned that year for so many games for kung fu and somebody in the stands at Crystal Palace. He makes his game. He comes back on a game against Liverpool at Wembley and scores a goal. The lads got quite a lot of stick during that year, and me personally, rightly so, because I didn't think that they took the game and the fans as serious of what other professionals had done over the previous years. So I'm sure them players even now today, kick themselves and they cringe when they see the likes of all these things. It's not just about the suits. I think it was down to the respect. I don't think they showed Roy Evans the total respect that he deserved.
I agree.
You just agree, yeah. All these stories, by the way, what Gerry's telling us, you can read about all this stuff and lots of other things in his book. Gerry, tell us about your book, mate.
Yeah, I had an heart operation about 7 years back, and I couldn't move for 3 or 4 months. I mean, I missed about 14 games. I'd missed that in 20 seasons, never mind in one. Anyway, nothing to do, so I thought, I'll put pen to paper and start writing a book. So it took me 7 years, and it's finally coming out. It's getting published in October. It's called In My Blood. That's referring to my father, you see. It's been glorious writing it, and I'm just hoping everyone who reads it enjoys it half as much as I have as writing it. There's some real funny stories in it, but I'll tell you one thing, they're all true.
That's right. It's $9.95, and it's going to be stocked in the likes of. It's out in October, isn't it? It's going to be out in the likes of Waterstones, WH Smith's, Amazon. Gerry will have his own Facebook page where you can buy it there. It'll be also stocked by Anfield FM. So if you haven't caught all the details, this show's going to be getting repeaters anyway. So you can sort out which outlet you're going to buy it from there. Frank,
Jockey's just give Gerry a great plug in there, and rightly so. Let's just hope that we all go out and we buy a copy of this for Gerry. I'd like to move on now to the 2001 season, which was a fantastic season for Liverpool. Gerard Houllier, he wasn't the best, he wasn't the greatest of, I wasn't the greatest admirer of Gerard Houllier, but we went on that year and we went on and won 5 trophies. Do you want to talk us through them trophies, Gerry?
Yeah, certainly, yeah. Houllier, I went up to meet Houllier, as always, to give me silver, and he's a lovely man. He's very, very dry, actually. He's a very funny man. But that season, Liverpool won 5 trophies. But also, I won a trophy, and it was the very first fan of the year. And without a doubt, personally, it's the greatest moment of my life, watching Liverpool. Not watching Liverpool, being involved in getting voted the greatest player, the greatest fan on earth. I mean, I know some fabulous fans who are, but I'm not being big-headed. None's better than me, but there's a few who are as good as me. You know what I mean?
You want to give them a plug?
Can I ask you,
Lenny Woods, without a doubt. Lenny Woods, fabulous, top red man. Lenny Woods.
During these years, Gerry, not all of these years, but the run up to these couple of years, there was always a tit for tat with a character who always thought that he was a better Liverpool fan than you. Do you want to mention him, or is he worth mentioning to you, Gerry?
It's a Tom and Gerry situation.
Tom and Gerry situation.
He's not really, but Tommy the drum banger. His name's Tommy Fairclough. He's always going on about he's seen more games than me and all that. He's been in the army 17 years. So I said to him, so did you just get a pass out every week, Tommy, off the sergeant? And you know what he said? Yeah. But the thing that tickled me pink, though, is he went, how old was you when he first started itching? Yeah, and I went 12. And he went, I used to London when I was 8, on my own. So, you take what you can out of that, like.
Well, how ironic it was, Tom, with this, Gerry, with this tit-for-tat sportsmanship that you had with Tommy. And Tommy's a good Liverpool fan, yeah. But, I would like to say, I've known you a lot longer, so I'd like to put you in the bracket of being a better supporter. But, it was all good banter. But how ironic it was that you ended up winning Liverpool's first fan of the year, yeah. which was in 2001. So Liverpool didn't win 5 trophies that year, Gerry. We went on and won 6, because I count your one as the 6th, yeah?
I count my one as the 6th. I put that in the book, 6 trophies. I went 5, and then I went, no, sorry, it's 6, because I won that. So it's all Liverpool related, so it's 6 trophies.
Do you like to mention who them trophies were won against, Gerry, and what trophies they was?
Yeah, it was the league. It was the UEFA Cup. Alaves. It was the League Cup. Birmingham.
Carra scored the winner.
Yeah. The FA Cup, Arsenal, the Super Cup, Bayern Munich, and the Charity Shield, yes.
Was it Man United? Was it Man United that year?
Charity Shield.
It was at the Millennium, weren't it? I think it was Man United. People might tell us otherwise.
Listeners, I'm sure you should all be jumping at the radio now and saying who it was.
Arsenal.
Does Arsenal win the league the season before?
It was Arsenal because, obviously they could have went on and won the double, but we stopped them winning the double.
I think it was Arsenal, if memory serves me right. I'll check it up on my records when I get home. Anyway.
There's been so many, hasn't there? There's been so many trophies. We're allowed to miss a couple.
Another thing I'd like to say, Gerry's, he's not the youngest of fans now, so I think we'll allow for a little bit of, we allow for a little bit of lost memory.
Right, so we're moving on to the present day. Gerry, you've seen some of the greatest players ever. I mean, you've seen the likes of the Bests and the Keegans, the Dalglishers, the Cruyffs, some of the great players. You've probably even seen the likes of Sabio and all that.
Pele, Maradona, you've seen them all.
Yeah. What about the Uruguayan we had playing for us last year, Luis Suarez?
I can honestly say I've never seen a player like him. I would go and just pay my money just to watch him train. He's just untrue. I mean, I'm absolutely gutted now that he's gone, but he's left us in a healthy position. He pulled his tripe out last season, and he's done everything, and you can't blame him. His wife's from Barcelona, from Spain, and if your wife's not happy, your form's going to suffer. So for 75 million, I think it was a good deal, but he'll have to sort them Nashes out. It's not right, is it? You know what I mean? I mean, even in a street fight, that's not really allowed, is it? You know what I mean? The old butt and the kick, yeah, but not biting. You know what I mean?
The truth is, Gerry, as far as I'm concerned, the man's ill. For anybody to act in a way what Suarez has acted, once bitten, twice shy, but 3 times, that beats the biscuit, doesn't it?
But do you reckon it's 8 times he's been done for biting in youth teams and all that in his youth days?
1 or 2 out.
Yeah, so do you reckon it could be 7 or 8 that he's bit? You know what I mean? But my wife's got a theory on this. It's not about football, but I think she could be right. My wife reckons that someone's bit him when he's been a kid, and he's gone home crying to his mum, and his mum's gone and said, "Well, go and bite him back." That's what Anne-Marie said.
Just go back, rewind a little minute, Gerry, when we talk about great players that have, graced the field, not just at Anfield, but, worldwide, through Europe, and, and players who you've seen. Can I ask you personally, who's the greatest foreign player you've seen come to Anfield?
Oh, I should imagine. It's got to be, as Shanks used to call him, Crufts. Johan Cruyff. Oh, my God. Unbelievable player. But for me, the best player ever in the world, not even arguably, undoubtedly, Pele. He scored 1,283 goals in just over 1,300 games. Pele was the master.
Yeah, but he didn't come to Anfield. He went across the park. We know we went across the park, Gerry, in '66. But Amaro playing against our great team, the team that we support, and I agree with you totally. Johan Cruyff, as far as I'm concerned, as well. And I'll give you the nod on that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
For me, it'd be Henry. Great foreign player.
Henry very special. But I think Cruyff was just the way he glided past players. It was just. They've even got a turn named after him, the Cruyff turn, you know what I mean? Everyone's doing it now, but when he done it, it was like something in cricket, like where they do this reverse sweep now and that, you know what I mean? It was just unique. For me, like, Shankly loved him, but he used to call him Crufts, like the dog show.
Go on, Frank.
Well, we've talked about some great years, Gerry. We've gone right through from your first game that you've seen Liverpool play against Huddersfield. 2001 was the last mention, what we mentioned about. We had a few more barren years. Nearly won the league. Should have won the league, I would like to say. We should have won the league the year before. Yeah. You know, when we come fourth in a two-team race, two-horse race. And then we got rid of, I'm not saying we got rid of him. Well, we did get rid of the manager, Gerard Blaney, because I think even he became a little bit delusioned with his own methods, and then we ended up getting a manager by the name of Rafa Benitez, who I'd never heard of. Yeah,
me also. I'd never heard of him, but I thought he was an excellent manager. Tactically, he was just second to none. The only thing I didn't like about him, and I just for the life of me can't understand why people do this. We scored a goal and he just started writing something down. He wouldn't celebrate it. Whether the goal went in against us or we scored, he showed no emotions. I just cannot keep my emotions in. I'm like a lunatic.
Gerry, I think you'll agree with me here, and Jockey, you'll definitely agree with me here. I think there was just something about Benitez that I think none of us could put our finger on it. You know, he was the first manager I'd ever known to swap. You know, we could have won a game 2-0. The following game, he'd go on and change the team. You know, we used to have this thing every week. We'd put a fiver in and we'd say, guess the team. And whoever guessed the team, they got the money. That money to this day still hasn't been claimed because nobody ever got it right.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Spot on, Frank. Spot on.
So, the future, we're looking ahead to the future. You've seen all the greats, you've seen the bad ones, you've seen the good, the bad and the ugly, Gerry. Yeah, where do we go from here? Have we got the right man for the job?
Oh,
Brendan?
1,000,000%. Dare I say it, he could even become the new Shankly, this guy. He's got everything. He's got absolutely everything. Yeah, for me, Brendan Rodgers is going to lead us right back to the top. More, Premier League, whatever you want to call him. I just call him league titles. He'll get us more league titles, and he'll certainly get us a few more European trophies as well. Oh, he's going to be the boy, believe me. And what a lovely fella when I went up to meet him. He read the inscription on his plate, and he just looked at me and said, Blaney, he said, oh, us paddies get everywhere, don't we? And we got a good talk, and I told me dad used to support Glenn Torden. He said, oh, yeah, I know Glenn Torden. I said, yeah, a lovely man. Very, I think he was in awe of me, because Carragher and Gerrard had told him all about me. And I think he was more in awe of me as I was of him, if I dare say that, like.
Okay, again, Gerry, you know, we jumped the gun, we've gone forward because we're all sitting here really excited about the managementship of Brendan Rodgers. But, you know, we've been trying to go through this in a chronographic order and we'll just quickly...
It doesn't work that way when you're sitting in this room with all these scarves and programmes and legends on the wall, shirts.
I agree, yeah, but, you know, if you noticed, I'm always trying to get it so that we're at 2005 now. We have mentioned it, we touched on the subject quite a few times. We all know what 2005 means to everybody and what happened in 2005. Would you like to run us through what your day, week, evening of 2005 in Istanbul, Gerry? You know, from being 3-0 down at half-time to extra time, you know, also the game that went into 2 days, you know, it's a great trivia question in the pubs. You know, it started off at 10 o'clock in the evening. I remember...
Finished the next day.
And yet the game finished the next day. Do you want to talk us through a bit of that, Gerry?
Yeah, it was... We were there for 3 days, and it was just an incredible feeling. You could feel... You just knew we were going to win it. But once the game come through the game... I mean, I'm a great fan of AC Milan. They're my favourite European side. They always have been. And I've always wanted to see this Maldini. For me, the greatest defender I've ever seen. On a par with Beckenbauer, without a doubt. And so I was studying his game carefully. Fuck me, I only had to study it half a minute, and he scored. Yeah. And then 2-0, 3-0, and I seen people leaving the ground. Half time comes, I remember I just sat on the floor, and I was in a daze. I didn't know what was going on, and I just kept thinking to myself, I wish this game was over. This is going to be 7 or 8-0. We're going to get embarrassed. They're so good, these. And then, as you probably heard before, you just heard this faint sound, You'll Never Walk Alone started, and it got louder and louder and louder. And then I don't need to say any more, do I? Wow, 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 wow. The greatest night of my life.
Well, we've heard all the stories about what happened in the changing rooms, and the door apparently getting open, and the management saying around saying just listen to this. But we're hearing this now firsthand from a great supporter. We're all good supporters. We were all there at that game. But I want you to take note about what Gerry's saying, because he will give you it as it was.
Without a doubt, Benitez won us that cup with his substitutions at half time. Without a doubt, bringing a man on, he totally closed down Kaka, never got a kick, and his substitutions were brilliant. I mean, for the side to win that, don't forget, we had Jimmy Tarori playing.
Gerry, I'd like to interrupt there. Please forgive me. And I'm not knocking you down. I would like to think that it wasn't Benitez that, as far as I'm concerned. Truthfully, this is my opinion. Gerry, listen.
I have to agree with you. What I meant to say was his tactical awareness, that he's changed a weak side and he got the best out of them. But the likes of Gerrard and Carragher, and to a man, I don't mean a man, to a man, everyone was brilliant in the end. Even Tarori kicked off the line. And Dudek, that double save, he's a friend of the Pope. Did you know that? The Pope used to be a goalie. Yeah. And this is not scouted, that's fact. And he said he's a mate of the Pope, and he says still to this day that was divine intervention. He reckons that the Pope made him do what he done there.
Okay, well, that's your take on it, Gerry. My take is that, Walt Disney could have wrote a fairy tale about this the way it happened. No one ever expected that. No. Me personally, I think Benitez was forced into these changes. Inevitable that Harry Kewell, who hadn't kicked the ball in 3 months, gets a starting game in the match, gets a top. Hadn't kicked the ball for so long. Within 15 minutes, he'd been substituted, through his hamstring or whatever. We were forced into making interchanges. Haman did come on but Haman should have started that game as well.
I agree. I totally agree with that. But at the time, it looked like a great tactical move. But in hindsight now, really, he shouldn't have played. Haman should have started the game. Yeah. Harry Kewell should never have been involved in the game at all because he wasn't fit. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
But it all ended in a great victory for us all. We all celebrated in the early hours, and it'll go down as one of the greatest wins in history.
Yeah, I may have got 3 or 4 hours sleep in three solid days. In 72 hours, I don't think I slept more than 3. I was just drunk on emotion. I couldn't go to sleep. I didn't want to go to sleep. I just wanted to savour it and it to last forever. And then, there's always a sting in the tail, isn't it? We get back to Manchester Airport, them Manx the way the aces. And it's taking ages letting the luggage come back. So one of the lads decided to have, the conveyor belt where them black strips are coming down, where the bags come through. One of the lads decided to have a look through, see what was going on. He said, look at this, lads. We've all rushed over. And there's all these cutting bag handlers dragging all the cases off and just booting them, slashing them with knives and booting them all over the place. So then I've stood on the conveyor belt, going round on the conveyor belt, and this busy come over and went like that. Hey, soft lad, get down. I went, have you seen what your lot are doing here? Ripping our bags. It's not on. I said, I won't get down. He said, you will, or I'll nick you. And then all of a sudden about 150 people all just pushed forward and went, you fucking nick him, you're going to nick the lot of us. And he just looked at me and his arse twitched and he just swallowed it and walked away.
Okay, well, that's the great end to the 2005 season, that, Gerry. We can move on to 2006. Yeah. Another year where we did win something. We weren't fantastic in the league. We went on another trophy for Rafa Benitez. Another, as far as I'm concerned, again, listen, it's in the record books, we know that. But another lucky win against West Ham. Yeah,
without a doubt, the Gerrard final is called, wasn't it? I mean, I'm afraid Pepe made two real bad mistakes that game, and I rate Ray. I'm sick he's gone, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I think we've got a good keeper now, but I'd like to have kept Rayner here as well, because he commands his box a lot better than the new kid does.
Just talking about goalkeepers, Gerry, the conversation we've had for the past hour or so, we not once have I mentioned this banter what you used to have with this other goalkeeper who used to be one of ours, Bruce Grobbelaar. Do you want to talk us through that and explain what happened there, what this was all about?
Well, there's an old saying in football, never meet your heroes. I mean, but I've been very lucky. without a doubt, it's definitely over 100, might be a couple of hundred I've met. And I've only ever had problems with 3 of them. But the worst, without a doubt, the ill-mannered grobbler. Oh, I don't know who he thought he was. I mean, guerrilla warfare and all that, fought in the jungle and all that. I was trying to take him outside the Holiday Inn. Come on, come and fight me. He'd have probably battered me 9 times out of 10. But I know this one night, he got me that angry that I would have done him in. I said, I was fighting with him in the hotel. Roy Evans and Alan Hansen had to pull us apart. I said, the man is the most obnoxious man I've ever met. Two ladies in the 70s, 80s asked him for his autograph, and he just shrugged them off. And I pulled him, and he said, who the fuck are you? And I said, who am I? I said, I'll be here long time after you've gone, mate, so don't be giving me that. Go and sign the autograph, will you? And, you know, lo and behold, he actually did. He went and signed it, but, you know, that's not the point. The man's the most arrogant man I've ever met, and without a doubt, he definitely took that bung.
I agree with you there, Gerry, but I'd like you to take it a little bit further with the banter, what you used to shout, because obviously your seat at Anfield was in the Cameron Road, in the first few rows, right by the penalty box, and wherever I sat, I used to sit in the cop, but I used to wait for it every game in Liverpool. When Liverpool, they'd always be kicking into the come out, they'd run to the cop, Grobbelaar would be in the goal, and I'd just wait there. I'd savour the moments every week of this attack, verbal attack, what you used to have on Grobbelaar, and he was aware that you were there because you know you could see he'd raise his frustration. Tell us a bit more on that.
Yeah, there's one game when he went to Southampton, and I decided to change my ticket for the Cop. Me and a fella named H, we got 2 tickets for the Cop, but they were halfway up, so there was 2 young lads sitting on the front row, and I went, we'll give it a tenner each, lads, if you swap seats with us. And so he went, yeah, right away. So when they're kicking in, I get on Bruce every game shouting, now then, you're a cheat and all this. You're a horrible man. And he'd turn around to me and say, shut the fuck up and all this. Anyway, he turned around. I went, yeah, it's me again. He went, oh, no. But the semi-final, all the lads told me to shut up. It nearly cost them a game. It was Villa Park. And when it goes quiet, I've got a real big gob, you know what I mean? And I shouted, I'm here, Brucey. And he's turned around and he's arguing with me for about a minute. And then they broke away as the game's going on, and they were attacking. And all of that were going, Gerry, you're going to lose the game. So I had to curb my anger against him. But believe me, he's one horrible man. I mean, the words, Roy Evans had to break the fight up with me and him. We were scuffling. Roy Evans and Alan Hansen and Ronnie Whelan. And Roy Evans said to me, to be honest with you, I was crying with anger. I was going, but no, you know, I love the club. I'm not having him talking to me like this. And he went, look, Gerry, what you've got to look at is, you know, the proverbial barrel of apples, he said. You always get one bad apple, he said. But he's a nice fella, really. But it's when he's had a drink. And I went, well, that's no excuse at all, Roy, you know what I mean? That's a disgrace. And that's how I'd like to end it. But, there was one game. It was after a League Cup game at Sheffield United. For some reason, I couldn't get there away. And at the next away game, I shouted, here I am, Bruce. And he actually shouted up, where were you at Sheffield United?
And on that note, we're going to finish. Oh no, Frank still wants to go on.
Come on, we've got to mention before, that was the 2006, we mentioned the Gerrard Cup final. Let's go for the last cup that we'd won under the Benitez's reign. Well, I think, which is the, we won, the final we appeared in. Again, it was against a great European team called AC Milan, who I think all those Liverpool fans were confident that we were going to go out there and we were going to give it to them. Without a doubt, we were the better team. We had a better squad. But for some reason, again, Mr. Benitez decided to play people who he said in the papers would never play for Liverpool Football Club again. I'll mention one of them in Bolo Zens, and he started that game. And the players that we had on the bench that night were Bellamy, who'd scored us goals, and Crouch. You know, our strike force was on the bench, and he played players of the calibre of Bolo Zens and Kite up front, who, when we bought him, he was a striker in Holland, but Benitez had played him on the right wing for all that time, and for some reason, I don't know why he done it or for what come about him, he decided to play Dirk Kuyt up front in a European Cup final. even though we scored, but for me that wasn't the point, Gerry. All Liverpool fans were confident that we were going to win that game.
Oh, without a doubt. I was ultra confident, but it was, as I say, it's a funny old game. We were the better team on the night, you know, but they beat us. But looking back to 205, you've got it. I've never seen a performance like AC put in that first half. I've never seen anyone do anything like that to Liverpool, ever. Oh, tell a lie. A league game, 1970. Frankie Lane played in goal. We got beat 4-0 to baseball ground. It could have been 8-10. But that was an equivalent to that as well. But as I say, that's football.
So that's it. We've come to the end of a great edition of the Kings of the Cop. The present King of the Cop sitting next to me. As I said before, he's got a book coming out. It's coming out in October, isn't it, Gerry? It's called In My Blood. It's going to be available on Anfield FM. It'll be available on Gerry Blaney's Facebook page. It'll be available in Waterstones, Amazon, WH Smith and a few other outlets. Go out and buy it. It'll be a great present for Christmas. It'll be $9.95. And Frank, shall we finish with you?
Just before we wrap up here, I'd just like to say we was going through this, all the wins, all the great highs and lows. We haven't forgot about the Cardiff win we had at Wembley recently, you know, but we just want to go out on it. We could talk all night, and I'm sure, you know, you'll all be had enough of this. There's some great exciting stories that we still could be on, but, you know, there's not enough time to tell everyone. So all you anoraks, we hadn't forgot about Cardiff. So get out and buy the book. There's more to it. And this episode isn't over. There's a lot more in the book for you all to read.
So thanks to Frank. I'll thank myself, but most of all, I'll thank this week's King of the Cop, and it's Gerry Blaney.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.